James Wilson, a seasoned businessman and frequent traveler, came to Phoenix on business. Staying at a fairly standard hotel outside the city center, he expected to spend a quiet 2 nights there. But his stay in Arizona turned out to be much more exciting than he expected. Returning to the hotel late that night, James opened his room door and immediately sensed something was wrong. He caught movement behind the bed and, to his horror, saw an unfamiliar bald man with a beard, dressed in a black sleeveless shirt and jeans, slowly rise from it. Without saying a word, the stranger began to loom over James. In a panic, James hurried to the door and then ran down the hallway toward the lobby. He reported the uninvited guest to the front desk, and the police soon arrived on the scene. After searching James's room thoroughly, they found no trace of the alleged intruder. Perhaps he had managed to escape through one of the hotel's emergency exits. Fortunately, none of James's belongings had been stolen. Although the incident had disturbed him greatly, James returned to his room, hoping that nothing like this would ever happen again. About an hour later, through a window overlooking the back parking lot, James noticed a suspicious figure walking from the hotel parking lot to the parking lot of a neighboring business, and then out of sight. James wanted to report it, but decided that by the time anyone had time to react, the unknown person would surely be gone. James spent the rest of the night in his room, keeping a close eye on the door and window. To his relief, no further disturbing events occurred. A similar unpleasant incident had happened to James the previous summer when he had stayed in a hotel near another major city. When he returned to his room late at night, he discovered that he had forgotten his key in the lock and asked the front desk clerk to issue him a new one. When James finally got to bed and fell asleep, he was suddenly awakened by the sound of the door opening. Gathering his wits, James walked over to the bathroom, peeked inside, and to his horror, saw a dark figure watching him intently. Without thinking, James ran out of the room and rushed down the hallway to the stairs and down to the lobby. The porter immediately responded to his message, and they returned to the room together, but the intruder had already escaped. James demanded to be moved to another room, and, to his relief, the hotel was able to provide him with a spare room on the 3rd floor. He spent the rest of the night quietly, realizing that the stranger had probably somehow obtained his key to his old room. The next morning, James went to meet with the hotel manager with a concerned look on his face. He asked for a record of everything that had happened and categorically demanded a thorough investigation of the incident. The hotel manager apologized, promised to take immediate action, and assured that the safety of the guests was their top priority. As in the previous case, no evidence or trace of the uninvited guest could be found. CCTV cameras installed in the corridors did not record anything suspicious. What's more, the night shift staff said they hadn't seen or heard anything unusual. James had no choice but to accept the manager's apology and move on to discuss a further plan of action. He asked for additional locks to be installed on the door of his new room and increased security in the hallways for the duration of his stay. Despite these precautions, James was still anxious and upset. Returning to his room, he scrutinized every corner, checking for signs of an intruder. He found nothing suspicious. James decided it would be best to spend the day outside the hotel to get his mind off things. He took a bus tour of Phoenix, hoping it would help him relax and take his mind off the unpleasant events.